The Rock is back.
I wish I could say that about my tummy, but it is not there. I was hoping by now it'd be ready. I'd be enjoying a Miguel's burrito, but it's not, my guy. But welcome to the very first episode of Los Valientes podcast with Isaquito, Isaac, the delicious, Ice Packalicious, and your co-host, the man who again got hit by a bull and survived.
Lance Dragon, the only one who could take a hit like that and come back. I was hurt, and do not get me wrong. I respect bulls now. Yeah. I respect bullfighters. I respect anyone who has anything with a bull, even farmers. I barely got the tip of that iceberg. I didn't even get a full throttle hit, so it is what it is. We live for the adventure. Valientes for a reason.
Valientes for a reason. So this podcast is going to be more of like an anything and everything type of podcast where you guessed it, where we talk about anything and everything.
Anything?
Maybe not absolutely anything. You know, just tone it back a little. Maybe if this actually kind of blows up later on, and we actually have people watching this.
Because if people request it, This man is an entertainer. He is an entertainer, and once one goes in, we all go in. So I just got to know the limitations here. So it's up to you guys. Like I said, you know, he's trying to start this thing going. And so it's like, you know what? I'm on board, but I want him to show me where I'm going, and I want you guys to show him where he's supposed to be going. Okay. And then that's where it'll start branching off. And then you guys will see. If you guys don't believe us, we'll probably do Running the Bulls again just to prove a point. Just to prove a point.
So, talking about running the bulls, I want to do a special episode about that later on, where we actually, because there's a bunch of pictures and videos that I took that I never posted, you know, from like our trip over there. But I want to make it like a special episode where probably once the room is all ready, maybe like our fucking 50th episode, I'll do the running the bulls episode where we have the monitor up and everything, where we can show the people who are watching it as well, like the clips and pictures that we took, and we're just reviewing it over. What's on, because like you're talking about, you know, if this eventually gets somewhere, because like I don't want to give away all the juicy details to like people who, like the 10 people who are watching this. Right. I want to eventually build up an audience, then we start going into the more juicier stuff. So this one, since it's the very first episode, basically introducing ourselves. What's it called? Man, if I were to go back in time and then go to Lil Isaquito, sophomore Isaac, and tell him, hey, you know that guy over there looking like MC Hammer? You're going to live with that guy. I'm like, what? Oh, let's see this guy in front of me just doing this. Like, you're telling me I'm going to live with that guy?
Oh, yeah, no, you got to understand, I actually known him since high school. For me now, that's going on 10 years now. 10 years now, and it's crazy because it still feels like yesterday. The little sophomore was just a tag-along buddy, like, oh, you know, he's cool, you know, I like him, he's exciting, he's dangerous, he doesn't care, he does not care, he has no weaknesses. Like, you know what, I fucks with that little guy, I fucks with him. And so if in turn you would have told me, oh, you're gonna live with that guy's actually pretty cool. That guy? Oh, too legit to quit. That guy. And it's funny because we had a little thing in high school, because you're going to hear a lot about that. Like I said, we go back to high school. And so, like, literally, him and Brandon, shout out to Brandon, they were my sons. Like, that was the game. That was the joke. You know how everyone has a little family, you know, the little community. It's like, he was originally my son, and it was just a joke. But now it's like, oh, shit. Maybe they caught up to me, and now I'm paying back child support now. Like, damn.
He was my papa, and that is the only reason why I gave wrestling a shot, because he told me to do water polo and wrestling. I couldn't stick with wrestling, but I did do water polo, and I ended up liking it.
Don't let him lie to you. He loved the leotard. I think that was the only reason why he gave it a shot.
It's like, I just want to wear it. I just want to put on a performance to show.
And then the referee is like, no, Isaac, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that to him. You got to stop. And it's like, well, deuces, I'm going to the Speedo and water polo. So.
Yeah. I can move more freely in the water. What's it called? So I haven't really posted about it because I've been waiting until this, but like, speaking of like living together, we're roommates. Yeah. We're fucking, I've moved out. Talking to Andrew, and getting to know him more, he found out that I've always wanted to have that like bro roommate, you know, experience. Like, oh, I've always wanted to, you know, live with one of my bros and do that. And he's like, you ain't down? I'm like, down. It's like, are we at Chili's right now? Or no, we're at Applebee's? Applebee's, guys, you will eventually know Applebee's is the place of business. That's where things go down. If you want to conduct business with me, meet me at Applebee's, because that's where shit goes down.
The 2 for $20 special? I want that and more. What are you going to give me? I am going to budget this and get everything, and we will make deals. Make deals like, oh, I'm willing to drive $1,300 right now. I'm listening. Like, that is going to be our go-to spot, and you're going to hear us keep talking about that. It's just funny how Applebee's is just the spot. But, yeah, no, literally freaking been living life, and so now, as you guys get to know, it's like, he's always wanted that, and it's like, bro, I left for the military, I freaking left for academies, I literally left for all these different things, and it's like, you're not ready to live with the bros. I thought I was ready to live with the bros, and I was shooketh. Freaking ice everywhere, ice challenges, the Smirnoff Ice Challenge, freaking the saran wrap around the toilet, freaking room inspections, freaking living with a stranger, and like, come on, bro, you got to clean up after yourself. Well, what are you gonna do about it? I'm gonna have to duke this guy up to take out his own trash. You made that. We're living together. Why would you do this? But then even now, conquering that and then living with my brother, it was like, oh, boo, boo, giggity, 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 giggity. And so then it's like, you're not ready for that lifestyle. Like, anyone who's lived with anyone knows there's a price. And so it's like, oh, that can make or break, friends and relationships, it could be detrimental. And so it's like, you're not ready for the challenge.
Yeah, because that was the thing. I've always wanted to live with friends, but like how he said it, and I told him before we started really talking about it, is like this can make or break relationships. And I don't want to just move out with any of my bros because like I don't want to fucking live with the person and then find out something about each other and then it can possibly ruin the friendship. So with Andrew, getting to know him more because like how he brought it up, I've always known him from high school and I always seen him as a friend, but we never really hung out outside of high school. I got introduced to him through JRTC. Like my circle, 80% JRTC, and then the little 20% is like from Franklin.
Okay, just to give you guys a little hint of our, version of JROTC is literally, imagine a dill pickle jar. And that 80% is the dill pickles jar, and then they're all just in there having a good time with each other. Like, they give no fucks, they live life, and they are literally about themselves. The 20% of the other world could go fuck themselves.
I was a jalapeno in that dill pickle jar, though. I was the sexy little jalapeno. Woo! Let's go. What's it called? Okay, so, this will be the very first one. I'll tell the history of the Halloween party, how that started going on. Growing up, I love Halloween. Halloween is my favorite holiday, but after you reach a certain age, like after high school, you can't really, trick or treat. And I'm not gonna lie, I was like the goody two shoes, so I didn't really go out partying and shit like that all the time, in high school. So after high school, it's like, fuck, like what do we do? Like, and then I was sick and tired of going to these parties, especially Halloween parties, where all they were doing was drinking in like a certain part of the room and then smoking in the backyard, and that's it.
But that's standard procedure, though.
Yeah,
that was standard.
That ain't a party, though. That's not a party. Don't call it a party. It's like, dude, I guess I over romanticize the 80s because I just think of like parties like that's like, bro, where they're dancing in the living room, drinking in the kitchen, and then just having a blast in the backyard. Like, that's what I wanted to experience.
So then what'd you do?
So what did I do? It's actually to Ralphie. He is the one. Him and Cisco are the two key members of the history of the Halloween parties, and then me too. Okay, so what's it called? Ralphie was in the Marines, and he called me up. He's like, Isaac, man, I'm gonna go home for my birthday. I just want to have a party. Like, I haven't really, I've been doing good. I haven't really done all this. He's like, I want to go back for my birthday. Let's have a Halloween party. He's like, throw a party. Like, I want to have a party. And I'm like, Ralphie, I've never thrown a party. Like, I
do you understand what you're asking of me?
Yeah, do you understand? Like, I don't know if it's gonna go down, bro. Like, I don't know who to invite. I don't know how. It's like, but you know what? Because how I am with my boys. I'm like, I got you though. I will try my best. It's like, you come for Halloween, I'll throw a fucking Halloween party. Like, a couple weeks later, he ends up calling me. He's like, that he's not gonna be able to make it. They didn't give him the permission or something like that to come
visit.
The leave.
Yeah, absence of leave.
Absence of leave.
They got to get approved of it because like there's slots or depending on your unit. So that's where I could kind of side with Ralphie on that. It's like, oh, yeah. I get it. It's like he wanted to go because I mean I had no part of the beginning of the Halloween party, so I'm just outside viewing in. And so how he's telling it and how he's always told it, it's like wow, it just started with a dream, a dream and a whim,
a whim. And then he tells me, and Cisco, this is the part where Francisco is the other member of this history lesson. I end up telling Cisco, it's like, hey man. Ralph's not gonna come over, so I guess the Halloween party we don't have to throw it anymore. He's like, oh, I was actually kind of getting excited to throw a Halloween party, and I'm like, yeah, me too, but oh well, dude, I guess we can just try to do something else. And then I think the next day, he ends up, we were hanging out, and then he's like, wow, it's like, well, what happened? And he's like, I was telling you I was excited about the Halloween party.
Right.
The girlfriend that he was dating at the time, he told her about it, and she laughed at him. And he told me, like, yeah, she laughed when I brought up the idea of the Halloween party. I was like, why? Well, what did she say? She's like, oh, you guys are going to throw a Halloween party? What are you guys going to do? Play board games all night? And I'm like,
oh. The disrespect.
I was like, oh.
Insulting a man's intelligence. You know how hard it is to play board games?
Don't even come at me at Risk. How dare you? We will play Risk on that. But, like, you know what? You think that's what we're going to do if we throw a party? Challenge accepted. Boom. We threw a party. And I just started inviting people that I've known. If like you were ever in like my life, and I thought you were cool, and I thought you would have fun at the party, I invited you. I was inviting everybody left and right that I could, and you were there the first one, right? Nick brought you.
Yes.
Yeah. So I didn't invite Andrew because I was in contact with him. He no Facebook. I didn't have his number or anything. So I didn't invite Andrew. I invited Nick. Mm-hmm. And then, people start showing. Honestly, that first hour, I was scared because nobody showed up, and it's just like, wow.
Because you are the entertainer, you are the man, you are the star, you are the showman. If it doesn't hit, then it's your fault.
That's why.
You failed. I don't know where you went wrong. You could have done this. You could have done that. Everyone could have Monday night quarterbacked you, and get it. The pressure's on you. Like I said, like no idea. As a matter of fact, I almost didn't go.
Yeah.
I almost didn't go because I was like, Isaac, oh, I remember him. That was my son. But I don't, aren't they younger than us, Nick? Like, I mean, how legit is this party going to be? I'm not bagging on them, but it's like, we could just go to a bar or something. We could just do something, just us. And he's like, no, man, it's going to be like a little high school reunion. Isaac got the contacts for everybody. And I was like, everybody? And he's like, he's contacted quite a few people. And it's like, you know what? All right. I'll give Isaac a shot.
With challenges, my guy. I will accept that challenge, and I will fucking try my best to beat it. So, yeah, I invited Nick, and then the first hour, nobody was showing up. I was like, oh, my God. Like, everybody's probably having the same mentality as, like, Cisco's girlfriend. He's like, what are they going to do? Play fucking board games all night. And then people start showing up, and it's like, oh, okay, let's go. And then we're having fun, and we made this fucking big batch of jungle juice. I am proud of that jungle juice, that Halloween jungle juice that we do every year. I love it. What's it called? And then Nick shows up, and then it's like, oh, Isaac. He's like, I got a little special guest for you. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about, a special guest? And then that's when I seen Andrew. I'm like, oh,
I know.
shit.
You know what? Like, I was actually excited. Yeah. I saw him, and I was like, oh, wow. Like, oh, you know what? He hasn't changed. He kept that same high school persona. Like, he literally didn't change because throughout the years of life, people change. And it's like, oh, it's good to see Nick didn't change, Isaac didn't change, Cisco didn't change, like no one changed. Even though I didn't necessarily hang out with them, they were always around, and it was like they were my friends of the friends. And so it's like, okay, you know what? We could party, we could throw down. Yeah. Let's go.
So yeah, we had a fucking blast. And was that the night we went to Denny's that morning?
Okay.
Well, the Rage Cage.
Yeah,
was that the first or second year?
Yeah, so you guys got to bear with us. There were so many Halloween parties now, and a lot of alcohol involved, so they kind of got infused. Because I think Denny's was the last one.
No, it wasn't the last one. It wasn't the last one for sure.
So then,
I think it was the first one. No,
it wasn't the first one.
It was the first one.
No, Paula was there.
Yeah, and that was the first.
See, it wasn't because Paula's his sister, so. she was there with us at Denny's. So that wasn't the first one, because I remember the first one. I was dressed as a sexy firefighter. And Nick was in my actual military uniform.
Yeah.
So I think that might have been the start of the Rage Cage era. Okay. Like, I think that's where it just started taking off, because then that's when we realized people really don't know how to play.
Yeah.
And so then we started playing amongst ourselves.
By the way, my drinking days are over. I don't drink anymore. I've tapped out. But what's it called? But with Rage Cage, I love that game. They're the ones that got me to drink, because I wasn't really much of a drinker. But my competitiveness would kick in with Rage Cage. It's like, oh, this ain't nothing like beer pong. Everybody can come in. Mm-hmm. It's a fucking game, having a blast. I can play this, so I got addicted to it. That's why I started drinking. And what's it called? So with Rage Cage, I hate going to parties or other people's things or whatever they're throwing. And like, oh, you play Rage Cage? It's like, oh, we play Rage Cage too. And then, they set it up. And then they have these certain rules. And then they don't want to drink. And then they do this. And it's like, oh my God. Like this.
For anyone who doesn't know what Rage Cage is exactly what it sounds like. There are no friends. There are no teams up. There is a swing of shifts in who you attack, because it's literally just a bunch of cups in a circle. You're bouncing a ball with a separate cup from the circle, and then you try to make it in, and then you go around the table. So once you catch up to the next person, you just go and stack! Yeah. Stack! Now, what I mean by swinging shifts is if someone's a weaker player, there's a lot of cups in the middle here, but it's not just one cup, it's multiple cups, and you're trying to get them to drink and then have someone tap out. And so that's what we're talking about with Rage Cage. If you don't know, that's what he's talking about. And so I agree with him. Everyone has house rules. I get it, house rules, but you can't come to Rage Cage with faint of heart. You have to be like, I'm either going to conquer somebody or I'm going to be conquered. And so then that's why I was a drinker back then. That's why introducing him to it is like, nah, young blood, check this out. Listen here, youngster.
That was the first night, because I remember that's when I got introduced by Rage Cage by Steven. Mm-hmm. And then so when Halloween came in, me, you, and Javi had that three-way, that legendary all-star all-night battle, literally.
All-star Rage Cage.
Okay, so every time the Halloween party would happen, it would turn into a kickback, and then, kind of like a smaller group of people would hang out. And then, so that night, it was me, Andrew, and Javi, and we were playing all night until the morning. I experienced my first blackout. I remember I blacked out to the song of Rage Cage. I mean, not Rage Cage, sorry. A Fireball by fucking Pitbull. As I remember the last thing I was doing, we were playing... Oh, we play with Fireball, by the way. Like, the middle cup is almost always 85% of the time filled with fucking Fireball. So I just remember, like, just feeling myself. It's like, Fireball. And I get ready to drink it. Next thing I know, wake up in the living room.
Yeah.
What a fucking experience. It's like blacking out... Feels like a movie. Like, literally, I just remember getting ready, Fireball, and then waking up in the couch. But the only reason why I brought up the whole Halloween parties is because that's when I started noticing Andrew. What's it called? He would hang out after, like how I was talking about, like the kickback. It would be the party, and then it would kind of turn into like a kickback with a smaller group. He would always be there, him and Uriel. So then I started noticing, like, hey, you know what, Andrew and Uriel are pretty cool. I always knew they're cool, but like,
it's
like
touching. It's touching. That's why I'm coming up to here, because this is a touching moment. This is a touching moment, and that's hopefully it inspires the 10 people out there. Like, don't be afraid to shoot the shot. Like, I mean. It's just weird, because I didn't hang out with Uriel either. Like, I always knew of Uriel too, but he's the same age as me, so we just kind of like two seniors, like, all right, you're a senior, I'm a senior, we cool. But then that's why it was literally a high school reunion. So of course I would hang out after. Freaking, I was a party animal back then. Like, freaking, he may have been the sweet innocent one, but I was, let's go. You thought this is it? We going to drink in the morning. And so yeah, we would hang out after, and it was just like, wow, freaking Isaac did an awesome thing without even fully realizing it. He brought a lot of people together and made that bond stronger, but just by shooting the shot. Mm-hmm. Challenge accepted. I'll turn this thing bigger than what you thought. And so it's like, we can continue on, because I was just showing up for the Halloween party. Ever since the Halloween party, I treated it like a one-night stand. It was like, all right, see you later. It was fun. Yeah. It was real, but I got to go back to my life now.
Yeah, and then so I believe I was after the second Halloween party where again I noticed like, damn, you know, Andrew and Uriel, like they're always staying after like the Halloween party. They're fun to hang out with. Like let's invite them to more. That's when we really started doing, like, we would hang out to play Rage Cages. Like let's invite Andrew and Uriel. So I created a little group chat on Snapchat with him and Uriel. Like, hey, you guys want to come over do some Rage Cage, you know? And then they'll show up, and then they started showing up, and you know, that's when we started building that bond. And I started noticing like these guys are really cool, you know, people that I can trust, you know, and have fun with. And then at that point, it started getting to the point where I started inviting them to stuff where it wasn't just drinking stuff. It's like, okay, you know what, like we can hang, we do other stuff than drinking, you know. Like I think Andrew and Uriel, not necessarily, I don't want to say like prove themselves, but like
no, that's the right word, worthy, because that's how I thought of them. It's like, you know what, I could come out. You know, these guys are pretty fucking cool. Like, you know what? All right, I'll show up. Invitation accepted. I'm calm. Well, yeah, no, worthy. You know, it goes both ways. It was okay. I'm. You know what? You're worthy for me to even come out. Yeah. So continue on.
Yeah. So then we started inviting them to other stuff, and they started hanging out. And then that's when, you know, we started building like this new group of friends, and throughout those hangouts, would, you know, have a lot of late night, you know, drinking or just talking and hanging out, getting to know each other even more, or, you know, catching up on what's happened after high school. And then Andrew found out about the running of the bulls. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but I'm just explaining kind of like who we are and like the history of, like, you know, me and Andrew. And he found out about running the bulls, and like I've always wanted to do it, but I was getting sick and tired of like waiting on people. And at that time, that's when I did the first skydiving, and I did it by myself because I was just tired of waiting on people. Like, you know what? I'm not gonna live my life waiting for people. If I end up having to do it by myself, then I have to do it by myself. And then he found out about that. I was like, nah, I got you. He's like, I'll do it too. I'm like, no, why are you teasing me like that? No, you won't.
Get in line.
Yeah, like,
there's a lot of non-believers.
Okay. Everybody always tells me, he's like, oh, I'm down. I want to do it. And then Applebee's happens. Applebee's, my guys. So we would keep talking about it. You know, him and another friend that, you know, were down for Spain. And then it got closer and closer to like actually planning out. We would talk about it, but like, I don't know if they're for reals. I mean, we're in a group chat and we're talking about it, so it looks like it might happen. And then
because you gotta understand, it happens in July. So obviously, anyone who's traveled or anyone who's thinking about traveling, you gotta plan this out pretty far in advance. Not because, oh wow, it's overdrawn or overlapsing or, you know, time consuming. It's just, you don't want to go to a foreign country and have no idea what else there is to do. Like I said, this is our first time going to Spain. So it was like, we only have it was 4, right? It was 4 of us that were supposed to go at first. It was supposed to be
3 for sure.
3 for sure.
Yeah.
So me, you, Eric, and then maybe his girlfriend. Maybe. That was the 4th one. And then Rafael, right? Not Sanchez.
Oh, yeah.
But, the other guy.
Rafael.
Yeah, remember there was another guy in that group chat. No. Yeah, there was?
No, I remember.
We'll settle that, you know, in the bloopers. And that'll be a blooper one.
Okay.
But yeah, so it came down and slowly started dwindling away, and then, like I said, at Applebee's it came down to the 2 where the woo. It was like, I'm down, and it's like, well, are you down? And it's
we
like,
started talking about an Applebee's and basically that, like, you down, and then Andrew just pulls up his phone, and then he's like, the tickets. He's like, where do you want the layover? I'm like, oh shit, it's actually happening. It's like Miami. Done. And then he shows me the tickets. I'm like, oh, we're going to Spain. So then I'm just going to gloss over the Spain thing because I want to do a whole video on that. And then that's when I noticed, like, dude, Andrew is down for the fucking cause. All this time, like, you know, getting to know him, the Halloween parties, the hangout sessions, now fucking Spain. That's when I started knowing is like, Andrew's somebody that legit I can trust and have my back for. So after Spain, that's when we started hanging out even more and started doing this other stuff, and then that entertaining the idea of possibly moving in together, you know.
Right, because
it's been like over a year, you know, because COVID, postponing shit and everything.
Which ruined my plans, by the way, but that'll be its own separate fucking ordeal because I'm still throbbing about that. But it just goes to show, like, even back then, we knew. There was a reason why. It was a reason why. And it was like, you know what?
There's a reason why he chose me for his homecoming performance.
He's down. He's down for the cause as well. And it's like, you don't know how many times I've been stood up. And it's like, I'm really going to put my faith in this kid. Even though I'm not drastically older than him, but you got to understand, in high school, yeah, he was a kid. It was like, I could buy cigarettes now. I am way past you now, so get out of here with that shit. Go ahead and go to school, escuela. Like, nah. But now it's like, you know what? Yeah, freaking, it's sad that some people who I thought weren't down, and then he is. That's why I said, if one goes in, we all go in. We all go in as a unit. Some of us might be like, time out. What if we do it this way? I'm not saying I won't do it, but, you know, there's a smarter way to do this.
Why don't we go around? Why do we have to go through?
Why? Why? And then that's where, you know, we start realizing a lot of things about each other, you know, because, you know, we'll slowly start introducing that too, because we're Valientes, all right, you know, hands down. But, you know, still learning little secrets about each other, like, oh, you watch How I Met Your Mother too?
Oh!
You know, and it's like, oh, legendary. Let's go.
I love How I Met Your Mother, by the way, bringing it up. That is my favorite show of all time. So when I found out he fucking loves How I Met Your Mother too, I think we were at Cisco's house, and we were discussing that or The Office, and then me and Andrew were solely How I Met Your Mother, team How I Met Your Mother. We started talking about all the stuff that they've done, but yeah, when Jazz has a more secure schedule, or like once I start getting used to her schedule, we'll definitely have that marathon.
Oh yes, no. Jazz is my girlfriend, and so our relation is very different. Again, we'll get further into that as well. But just a brief summary: she's not from America, okay? She's not from the great country of the U.S. and A. She's Pakistan. so some of the lingo and some of the things we say, she doesn't quite understand. So I think How I Met Your Mother would be a good breaking down of just the overall thinking. And again, that's why I love How I Met Your Mother, because now living with people, now he's starting to realize too, like some of the jokes and some of the things that happen now. It's like, yeah, we're living with each other now. We're going to start doing things that, you know, we normally don't do. Like, I didn't realize this.
Are you talking about last night?
Yeah. I didn't realize this, but, you know, usually the same group of friends, you know, Uriel, Cisco, Ralphie, you know, Ivan, everybody, you know, the initial group, you know, usually like, you know, every weekend or every other weekend, we'll have like 8 to 10 people in the house. And so then it didn't occur to me, Isaac, Nick, and Jazz. We just say, you know, hey, I'm going to bed, good night. We didn't realize that was such a huge ordeal, because the whole rest of the group was like,
mostly Derek, though.
Mostly Derek, because he's the intellectual one, so I think he was just trying to get into his human emotions. He turned off his computer mind and was trying to feel emotion, and was like, why you guys do that?
Yeah.
And then we kind of looked at each other and we were like, do what? That, whatever you... And he did that. No lie. That. And it was like, telling good night.
Because Andrew was calling tonight, and then, you know, he's telling everybody good night, but it wasn't until he told me good night that's when he pointed out, I was like, all right, Isaac, and, you know, and then he's like, all right, good night, bro. And then that's when Derek was like, what's going on there? You guys actually say good night to each other? You guys live with each other.
Yeah, so it's like, and I'm just giving you the common courtesy of like, hey, don't come looking for me.
Yeah.
I'm going night, and you know, it's already 3:00 in the morning. Yeah. I have to get up at 8:30. Like, you know, I think I already contribute my time. But again, everyone was just appalled that we just said good night. So you know what? Go ahead and tell us, you know, if you guys think that's weird for roommates to just say good night, because it wasn't like we were like good night. No, there was no good night kisses. There was
Let's be honest though, if they weren't there, that's what we would totally have been doing.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, because good night kisses is a whole nother story, and there's a reason why we're gonna refer to that a lot. But you know, it wasn't like we were like full blown like, you know, good night. You know, it was just, you know, good night, bro. You know, freaking, you know. Because pretty much it's like, you know, you're just saying that you're going for the night. Like I said, don't worry about me. Like, you know, I'm not going out, or I'm not watching TV anymore. I'm not playing games anymore. I'm not going to be, you know, in your way. So it's like, you know, hey, if you have that special somebody, you know, I'll be asleep. You know?
Like the office hours are closed.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, it just never dawned on us because all four of us do it. Me, Jazz, Nick, and Isaac. And you know what? I didn't think it was a big deal. And so, like I said, you guys go ahead and you guys, you know, comment or whatever, and just let us know if that's weird or not to tell your roommates good night.
Yeah. Okay. This was probably one of the better birthdays throughout my life. Also because I got one for sure. Javi, Mr. Conks, my co-host of Superboys. Let's see if you're really gonna put your money where your mouth is. What's it called? Because see, Andrew, this is one thing I really like about Andrew. I've noticed that me and him, there's a lot of common, what's it called?
Factors, denominators.
Yeah, between each other and all that, like our competitiveness, our style of like gaming, the way we do certain things and all that. So one of them is his strategy games. And I've noticed throughout, these last few years is like, Andrew really likes strategy games. And he keeps surprising me, how much his nerd levels are, whatever and all that.
Apparently you can't have muscles and, nerd level, it has to be a certain containment. So it wasn't like I was just going out saying, oh yeah, I like this, I like that, I like this, I like that. It's like, okay, I'll play, game on.
Yeah, come. Mm-hmm. So with StarCraft is a game I've always loved, but I know it's nerdy, so not that many people do like it. It's a real-time strategy-based game, and I'm not saying I'm the best. No, I'm not the best. Like fucking, I get my ass kicked all the time online. Like the farthest I ever made it to was like Bronze League and all that. But it got to the point where like I don't like playing strangers. I like playing with friends. People I know. I want to see them in the room reacting as shit goes down. Whether they're beating my ass and they're having a great time, or the vice versa, I'm beating their ass and I'm having a great time. Mm-hmm. So with Andrew, it finally got to the point I was like, Andrew, let me show you this game. And then so I showed him
StarCraft. Oh, no. He ain't going to shortcut that one. My man was like, hey, Andrew, I kind of been wanting to ask you for a while. I don't want you to think it's weird or anything.
Oh, not even like that.
Yeah, no, he was like, have you ever heard of this game called StarCraft? And then I was like, I think I've heard of it. I just don't know what it is. And he's like, oh, well, it's a strategy game, but bear with me though. It's aliens and monsters and all that kind of stuff. But it's a strategy game, so I figured if you like strategy games, you would like this game. And it's like, okay, I don't know why that would be nerdy or weird. It's a strategy game. And so then he shows me it, and I'm like, oh, okay, it looks like a cool game. That'd be fun. And so then he finally set me up with a battle, just a little spar with his sister Carol, and I loved it. Yeah, absolutely fell in love with it, and it's like, you fucking want to talk about StarCraft? I will fight you in real life. You could get this physically or mentally destroyed. Let's go. Yeah. So now he's excited because I didn't know that it was such a nerdy extent. Because he keeps saying it, it's like, what's so nerdy about it? It's literally a intellectual supremacy over somebody. Because there's a lot of thinking and a lot to do. I get the whole.
Because it's a more what I think about it, I feel like it's kind of like an advanced video game version of chess. Because it really is a mental thing, and all that. Like you're strategizing, so it's not literally a game of skill; it's a game of intellect. Mm-hmm. Because they're doing the work for you, so you just got to build or how you're gonna build or a certain way, how you're gonna attack, or what are you gonna go more defensively. Right. It's like that's what I like about it. It's like, oh, cool. Because Smash Bros, mm-hmm. I can think it. Sometimes I just can't do it, and all that. But with StarCraft, if you can think it, you can do it. Mm-hmm. So he beat Carol. He's all happy. He's all excited. I'm like, you know what? I'll even be honest about it. I went like, you know what, Carol, give me 15 minutes. I'll take this guy out in 15 minutes. And I highly underestimated how much. I should have realized.
No. Again.
He loves strategy. No.
Okay. Again, you're downplaying it again. Okay. My man is a showman. He doesn't. Okay. That's a fake persona right there.
What are you talking about? No. I really didn't.
No. You said no. We were on the kitchen after it was said and done, and he's like, okay, I want to play now, and it's like, okay, yeah, come on, bring it on, and it's like, it shouldn't, because I got to get going. It should only take me like 15 minutes. That's what he said. Okay, that's why. Okay, all right. He was like, it should only take 15 minutes. And so I'm literally freaking the guy in the B movie. You think just 15 minutes? It took me and Carol maybe 30, 40 minutes or an hour for us to even see each other. like there's no way you're just going to just beat me in 15 minutes. You're not going to take an hour and just do it in 15 minutes. I know that you have experience and knowledge of the game and you love the game, but you better put some respect on me. I expect at least, 20, 25 minutes, maybe even half an hour, because I get, he's quicker with it. So I'm still, new. And he's like, okay. And then he kept nonchalant. He's a showman. He's okay. And it's like just sassy, just so much sassy. So continue on.
Okay, so we're getting ready to battle each other, and I literally see this dude do this. He's on the other side over there playing, and I'm over here playing. He goes, He set up a timer. He's like 15 minutes, Isaac, and he starts it. I'm like, no. If you're gonna do that, you gotta wait until the match starts. Like I'm talking about the 3, 2, 1, and then he does it. But I'll give him that. I highly underestimated. I should have realized that he loves strategy games, so he would have learned a lot just from his first actual game. Because when I was first teaching him how to play, he was playing against robots, computers, and the part of the story. So it wasn't like a real StarCraft match. So his first match, I should have realized, okay, he probably learned a lot in this one match. So I started going for his like expansions and all that, and it was working. But after he took out my little attack force that took out his expansion, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna beat him in 15 minutes. But I guess he didn't hear me because of the headphones.
Oh, I know. I was. Because I'm still learning, so I was like, okay, because doing the battle with Carol, like I said, that took me an hour of like playing around and just figuring out basic stuff, and so things were happening, and so then now I know now this is an upscale battle now, so it's like I'm trying to do everything I did and trying to do it faster, and it's like I was jumbling over myself, and so I wasn't paying attention to anything this little Pikachu was saying to me. I had my own agenda.
But eventually I played the high ground and I took out his team. It's his queens. He had nothing but queens. I'm like, oh my god, these little tanks is like I know exactly how I'm gonna take them on. But that was another reason why I had almost a near perfect birthday, is because I spent time with my family, spent time with my friends. I watched King Kong vs. Godzilla on the big screen, which I have not been in a theater for over a year, literally since Sonic was in theaters. Yeah. And then yesterday played StarCraft. I love StarCraft. Like I feel like all generations of Isaquito in my life are happy right now. Elementary. Here's a little behind the scenes. I don't care. I'm a proud dork. I'm a proud nerd. We are all playing Yu-Gi-Oh right now, and I fucking love it. Like they found out about my Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I had, and then I busted them out. I was like, here, go ahead and grab this deck. So I got them hooked. We're playing Yu-Gi-Oh right now. We're playing fucking StarCraft right now. So that's high school Isaac happy, elementary school Isaac happy, and adult Isaac happy is happy for a couple of reasons. Can't really disclose that right now, but. It was a great 4 days that I'm having so far. Anything else that you'd probably want to say?
Oh no, I mean, like you said, this is your birthday. This is your moment. This is just introduction to the Valientes, and so it's like, I'm good because, like I said, it's crazy because we're gonna keep going with stories, and so I don't want to give too much too fast. We're just gonna enjoy your birthday, enjoy the fact that we're nerds, and just gonna keep going into depth with that because my man already put it out there, Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm just like, shit. What did I agree to?
Because I mean, there's nothing wrong with Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's just
it's a little embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not embarrassing. It's just what makes it embarrassing. It's people who think it's nerdy and then bash on it and make people feel bad for playing it. Yeah. That's honestly.
But that's never gonna stop me. Yeah.
Right, because everyone in life has something that they do that's a little weird, or a little different, or a little nerdy, or a little strange. But so that's why when Yu-Gi-Oh came out and I was playing, like I said, it wasn't like I was like, oh, do me right now, bro. Yeah. In school, like, hey, come get me. Yeah. Like, no. It was more like, hey, I play. Do you play? And it was like, isn't that for kids and nerds? And it's like, okay, well, that's a no. Do you play? And then, so obviously he's younger, so I didn't think to branch out to him because, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh with a sophomore. Like okay, not because I would be embarrassed, but just because of the backslash, and then that's why how we're saying our bond. It's like I don't care, I'll literally wear my heart on my sleeve and do what I want and do what makes me happy. Yeah. I'm glad I realized that. Fast in life, and I'm glad that he's realizing that. You got to wear your heart on the sleeve and just be happy doing what you're doing and find that group that does it. So yeah, that's why it's just weird because it's like, Andrew, you know about when he first was talking about it, he spoke to me like I never even heard of Yu-Gi-Oh. He's like, Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was like, yeah, everyone knows of Yu-Gi-Oh, and he's like, so you play? And it's like, yeah, I dabble in it. I just never got the full experience.
Say less. Around in my room.
And then he disappears into his room and just hits me with all these cards, and I'm like, oh wow, no, he play. He doesn't just play. He duels. Yeah. You know what? That's the proper way.
To get my game on, dude.
One simply doesn't play Yu-Gi-Oh, they duel. And so it's like, oh wow, okay, so I can actually play this now and not just get backlash for it, because again, he sees muscles and he's like, you play Yu-Gi-Oh? how do you have time for the gym? And it's like, it's not like that, bro. Yeah. Like, you know, we could play games and be fine. Like that's why I'm glad you guys' birthday wish. I didn't know that was his secret, you know, agenda of just slowly getting everybody to, you know, be confident in him to play things like that. So it's whatever. You know, enjoy your birthday, because you best believe, like I said, I'm competitive. You may be winning now.
Okay, so are you saying we're gonna play StarCraft today?
We will be playing StarCraft later on today. Like I said, I'm going to hopefully, you know, beat, you know, the 22 minute, or was it 21? It was somewhere like that.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, and so then speaking of that, so, you know, I give my man credit. I held off for the 15 minutes, but it was only like 5 minutes more and then he slaughtered me. So I'm gonna have to definitely redeem myself, because that's gonna be the competitiveness that you're gonna see. Is we're gonna keep challenging each other and keep doing that rivalry, because I don't like losing. He doesn't like losing. Nope. And so then that's why when Godzilla vs. King Kong came out, that was perfect. That's our movie. It's like alphas. Alphas.
That's gonna probably be the next episode. Is like, why can't we never be on the same side?
Oh yeah, no, never. Because I mean, you know, some moments we'll have our side, but again, it's usually because like, it's universal. Like, okay, you have to be on this side. Like, you can't be on the other side. But when it comes to a split decision, oh yeah, no, we are far left than right. So definitely looking forward to that, and looking forward to, hopefully we'll get 11. No.
Yeah. Hell yeah, 11 fucking viewers. Let's go. But yeah, dude, thanks. So that was our first. I did say this was gonna be the less nerdier one compared to the Falcon and Winter Soldier, the Superboys podcast. But F it, it'll be mixed in with everything. So yeah, next episode we'll talk about why can't we be on the same side. So talking about all our rivalries, talking about Pokemon next week, all that shit. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode of Los Valientes. Again, bear with me, guys. This is a show. I'm learning what's working, what's not. I'm doing this, you know, with the help of my sisters and my friends here, editing, getting to know again with what works, what doesn't. Grow with me. Watch this, and it'll pay off. Your co-host, the man with a plan, General Zod himself.
Oh yeah. Right there, anyone who knows it. And then we'll get into that more. Like I said, we're running out of time, but Lance the Dragon, and your host right here, this incredible man, this man who brought people together with parties. If you guys want to know how to throw a good party, contact him, ask him. He is a visionary. Let him know, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Bye.